Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the new PewDiePie situation that's unfolded. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not yet, but yesterday over on Twitter was a pretty interesting one because PewDiePie's name ended up trending, and I don't know, like I said in a recent video kind of talking about like PewDiePie and Mr. Beast's upcoming subscriber war and everything, PewDiePie has been kind of, I guess, out of the limelight for a little while now. You know, he's been kind of laying low, trying not to get himself into any controversy, not really uploading as much content maybe as you would expect, so this was kind of really surprising to see. But at the same time, it was so unsurprising to see because people in today's society, it seems like, or realistically people on Twitter, because that's where a lot of these controversies really originate from, just have the most sensitive ass personalities possible. I mean, these are people who could find something offensive about quite literally anything. I mean, they could walk into a grocery store and give you 35 different ways that it offends them. Today's video is sponsored by Optimus, the official home of Optimus merch. We just launched our summer 2022 collection and we're passing savings on to you. Most of our products are made right here in the USA, and last year we had over a 99% satisfaction rating with our clothes, accessories, and digital products. With the summer weather here, it's crucial to be comfortable in durable clothing, and our soft, true-to-size shirts are perfect for this weather. With LED mouse pads, posters, shirts, hoodies, shorts, phone accessories, and much more, Optimus is your one-stop shop for anything Optimus. You can also get my new book, 10 Years of YouTube, My Journeys ebook, and more. And the best part is, you can shop right here on YouTube. We've connected Optimus and Optimus to give you a seamless, easy-to-shop experience right underneath all of your favorite Optimus uploads. But don't wait, use code BESTFANSEVER at checkout for 10% off your entire order. Whether you spend $5 or $100, you can get 10% off today off your entire order at Optimus. Go to www.shoptimus.net for more. These people just have no, I guess, like, real-world experience, I guess. That's the only way that I can really even justify how they act this way, because the only way I can actually imagine getting this upset over this clip that we're about to take a look at is if you're just like terminally online, or you just don't get outside enough and have enough experience with people in the real world. I don't know, but the issue still remains regardless of what the cause is. These people are honestly upset over something pretty stupid. The amount of mental gymnastics that people have been doing in order to make this situation either more offensive or, in my opinion, offensive in the first place is actually kind of insane. Like, it's almost a discernible skill or like quality in its own way. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the clip that has gotten everybody so upset on Twitter. Keep in mind, this was enough to actually trend PewDiePie's name with a bunch of people even like saying things like, oh, I don't know how he even has an audience in the first place, man. Oh, I don't even know how people support this guy, right? So go ahead and take a look at the clip, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Well, I was at a drive-thru and it has like the people where they stand outside and they take your order before you go up to like the window. So I pull up and I roll my window down, and this lady, when I...
No, I'm not listening to this. Look, she has your crazy nails, man.
So anyway, what I did was, I went outside and then I peed and then I pooped a little bit as well, and it was crazy. Sorry, are my nails distracting you guys?
Okay, so in my opinion, pretty tame clip, you know what I mean? I don't really see a huge deal with this one. I don't think it's, you know, the end of the world or anything crazy like that. People are acting like this is just the worst thing that's ever happened to anybody ever, but personally, I just don't really see this one as a huge deal, you know what I mean? I don't really see how this was that offensive in the first place. Like, when I first saw this clip, I had to actually watch it over and over again to even figure out what it was supposedly even getting made fun of, right? Like, what the joke was that apparently got a bunch of people upset in the first place, right? I honestly didn't even know, but then the more that I read tweets about it, the more I looked into it, the more that it became apparent that people kind of got the wrong idea from this clip. So the reason that most people who are mad about this is quote unquote because he was mocking and making fun of a black deaf woman, okay? So two things about that are really important to note. Number one, of course race got brought into it. It seems like there's no conversation that exists anymore where someone's skin color isn't involved in some way. If you wrong someone in any way, shape, or form, if they're not, you know, white, you basically have committed a race crime or something, man. It's kind of insane how far people take this kind of stuff. Because at the end of the day, man, like, that's clearly not what he was even pointing out or talking about or making fun of in the first place. It just is, like, kind of added on at the end to make it sound even worse than what really happened. I mean, her race has literally nothing to do with anything he said or anything that he did. It's just literally being added in there because, well, it makes him look worse. You know what I mean? It makes the situation look more serious if it happens to a black deaf woman instead of a deaf woman, right? So of course that has to get thrown in there because why wouldn't it get thrown in there? And of course then the focal point of it, the fact that she is deaf, okay? Now, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. For like the first 15 seconds of me watching the clip, I didn't even realize she was deaf, okay? I thought she just had like a speech impediment or something like that, but I should have noticed, I guess, with the hand signs. But a lot of people talk with their hands, so like I didn't immediately jump to the conclusion that she was deaf or anything like that. So I just want to point out that it's not immediately discernible to everybody that this woman is deaf in this clip. So keep in mind though, PewDiePie never mentions the fact that she's deaf. He never makes fun of her for being deaf, you know? He makes fun of her because of her nails, okay? Which if you were watching the clip, you saw the nails. They were pretty long, they were pretty, you know, loud if you clank them together and whatnot. So pretty understandable why he would make a comment about that because I mean, I noticed it while I was watching the video. It definitely could get pretty annoying pretty quickly, so it's not like it was just something just out of there that wasn't being brought up or anything like that, you know? They made it out like this was an issue that it wasn't. And so, you know, PewDiePie is getting accused of mocking deaf people, mocking a woman of color, making fun of her, you know, for his audience and for content, and putting her in the thumbnail, because I guess he put her in the thumbnail of the video, but there's honestly a lot of reason to believe that this isn't the case. So one of the reasons that people brought up of why he's making fun of this woman is because of the way she was signing. Once again, that is not immediately discernible to everybody that she was deaf just because she was making hand motions. Like I said, I know people who aren't deaf, and when they talk, man, they just sit there and they look like it's like some anime or something. They're throwing their fingers up like they're twisting gang signs or something like that. So I don't know, maybe I'm just too used to people talking with their hands and whatnot, but I mean, there's plenty of different ways you can explain that, you know? Now, of course, what he really hones in on is the nails over everything, right? That's what people kind of forget about this situation. They say, oh, there's no way he didn't know she was deaf. Well, he didn't watch the full clip, so I guess maybe he didn't get the full context of the situation, but he didn't watch the full video because the nails annoyed him, which is pretty understandable. My question is, why in the fuck are people so upset about this? Why are people going out of their way to complain about this and to find something wrong with this, okay? So, we know he wasn't making fun of her for being deaf. We know he wasn't making fun of her for being black. We know he was making fun of her because of her nails. That should just be the end of the conversation, but of course it's not, because people, once again, will do anything they can to find something offensive. So one of the big points they made was, oh, well, you hear the way that he changes his voice, and he kind of talks like this, or I don't know how to do the fucking voice, but I mean, you know, he did that, right? So, apparently this was seen as him mocking the girl for being deaf, because a lot of people who are deaf have like a speech impediment that prevents them from talking to like a normal degree, right? Well, it turns out that the voice he was making was actually a voice that he commonly uses to talk to his dog, and apparently he's done this in other videos, so he wasn't using his voice to mock this woman for being deaf. He was using this voice to talk to his dog, who's in the video, okay? And honestly, the explanations are very plausible. I just don't see the logic in why a guy like PewDiePie, who's very clearly been attempting to avoid controversy over the last few years, especially after the controversies that have happened in his career already, he's been trying to avoid these controversies, so I don't see why he would go out of his way to do something like this. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for him to go and attack somebody who's deaf for the sake of attacking them. There's literally no logic in it. I mean, he benefits, what? He gets, I don't know, 45 seconds of content? PewDiePie doesn't need 45 seconds of content, okay? He's doing just fine. He's barely even uploading as much as he used to anyway, so I don't think he really cares about grinding out that extra piece of content. I think the situation's very clear. It's people on Twitter finding something to be upset about. They saw a clip that got taken out of context by one person who was trying to find a way to make it offensive. They immediately dogpiled on it. You know, maybe they've heard the history that PewDiePie has, you know, the PUBG bridge inward situation or something like that. You know, maybe they've heard this and they just kind of piled on with it because, of course, that's what you do to somebody online who's an easy target. And I feel like that's just the way it went, man. Like 95% of the people upset about this probably don't even understand the context in which everything was being said. They just saw an out of context clip on the internet and immediately jumped to a conclusion and got upset about it. And it's funny because if you try to argue with any of these people or like bring up a counterpoint when they're calling him racist or they're calling him, you know, I don't know what the word would be for someone who's disabled phobic. I guess that's what we'll use. Deaf phobic. I don't know. If this was the case, right? Don't you think that maybe YouTube or somebody would step in, or maybe more of his fans would be upset? No, it's because they know the real context, and these people who don't know the real context, who find anything they can on Twitter to get upset about, have nothing better to do than to be upset about a clip that's being taken out of context. I mean, it's pretty typical Twitter. It's not like this is the first time this has ever happened, you know? Even with PewDiePie in specific, this isn't the first time this has ever happened. So, the funniest part about it, though, like I said, you try to argue with these people, right? And you try to tell them that they're wrong, or at least provide another perspective so they can come to a conclusion that isn't based on just jumping to one. And the first thing they do is limit who can see their tweets. They'll go into protected mode so you can't interact with their post. They'll mute the notifications on the post so they don't have to hear what other people say. They basically just create a massive echo chamber and excuse the shitty behavior that they're expressing by just, removing themselves from the conversation, because that's what you do when you're wrong, right? You just disappear and turn yourself into protected mode so nobody can penetrate your echo chamber, right? It's kind of sad that people are really this way, man, but in short, I don't really think that this is the controversy that people really wanted to make it out to be. I think people are just fishing for any excuse at this point to be upset, and that's just not me, man. I don't need that. I don't really see the purpose in it. I feel like if you get this genuinely upset over internet shit like this that doesn't matter to you or affect you in any way, there's probably something else wrong, man. There's something going on in your life, you know, maybe you need to talk to somebody, I don't know, but the bar for what's been deemed insensitive is just so low now, right? Like, I feel like most people can't help but be offensive sometimes, simply because everyone finds a reason to be upset about it and to be annoyed or whatever, right? So, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @subtooptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, just not offended by this PewDiePie clip, and signing out.